What is going on, Lakers fam? This is your boy Jay Lake, bringing you Lakers all day, all the time. If you haven't yet, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down under. It would help us out a lot. Appreciate you coming back on, Al. Thank you for your time.
Jay Lake, it's good to be back. I'm happy to be making another video for the fans.
Awesome. So Lakers, we've been having some huge wins, right? Over OKC, number 1 seed, Bucks, number 2 seed out east, and Wolves, number 3. Really, it's just Nuggets and Celtics that we need to take down, and then it'll be a perfect run to the postseason.
You know, the Nuggets are the toughest team in the NBA. I think they're the best team in the NBA. Jokic is, an MVP, a two-time MVP. And ever since they got Aaron Gordon, it seems like they're just unstoppable. Their size really has been bothering us. And it definitely has shown that we are missing some pieces that we had in the 2020 year when we beat them. But hopefully we don't draw them in the playoffs and somebody else knocks them out. But hopefully that happens. And for the Celtics, in due time we'll beat them. We've fought them pretty hard, and we were pretty close. So I think we can beat them.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing that enforcer on the Lakers. It's like we need to rough up Jokic a bit. You rough up the Joker like we did with Dwight Howard and Markieff, then he'll be off his game. But if we can't rough him up or get him to foul trouble at least, I guess AD can. But in theory, if we had another enforcer, it would be great. Marcus Morris did get waived, so Markieff's brother is available.
I mean, he shows some ability, some of the things that we kind of need from like this squad. An outside shooter, a big guy, physical, obviously an enforcer. But I do like what the Lakers did in the last game. Their scheme, having AD be the off guy and try to alter Jokic's shot a little bit. I did like that game plan. It's just they couldn't execute late in the game like the way Denver did.
Yeah, definitely. AD is that help defender, or LBJ is that help defender. It works miracles on our defense. But I mean, AD I think is the only one really capable of really blocking Joker, because you can't really have Rui out there. I mean, Jackson Hayes is like, I don't think you're going to get him much in foul trouble, or you're going to put much pressure on him on the offensive side if he's on those two people.
Yeah, I feel though that Jokic is just unstoppable. No matter who you put on him, he's just gonna get to his spots. He has such an unorthodox shooting motion. He can hit from anywhere on the court. So even if you have AD on him, making it difficult for him, he's just gonna, he's still gonna find a way to score. He's just bigger than AD. AD does do a good job with his length, but I think AD's better off as the off guy, the help defender, and trying to make those passes hard for Jokic.
Definitely. Yeah, Joker, I mean, especially with those like Dirk Nowitzki, off like 1 foot, kind of like off balance, like shooting, like those kind of kill us. But yeah, so I mean, Timberwolves game, AD had a monstrous game, 27 points, 25 rebounds, 5 assists. Those are some Shaq-esque numbers, and I hope he keeps it up.
Those were historic numbers. He's the only player in NBA history to hit 25, 25, 5, 5, and 3. So, I mean, yeah, hopefully he keeps it up. He's been really consistent this year, pretty healthy this year, and that's something I think we as Laker fans have wanted to see from him ever since he came from New Orleans.
Yeah, because during that Bucks game, when Giannis was driving and hit him in that elbow right here and that pressure point, it's like he had that dead arm for the rest of the game. I was worried he wouldn't come back for the Timberwolves game, but he persisted. D'Lo, he blew up during that Bucks game, 44 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. That's huge for the Lakers, and I mean, I'm really hoping that D'Lo is more consistent throughout the season, unlike earlier in the season or last year.
Yeah, I don't know. Ever since he came back from injury and began starting again, he has been on a tear. I don't know if it was the trade talks that were floating around that gave him confidence in believing in himself again and knowing his value, but he has been hitting amazing shots. His three pointer has really help space the floor for the Lakers. Without him, uh, the Lakers really don't have great 3-point shooting. I mean, this year LeBron has shot the ball well, surprisingly, 40% from the 3-point line. I know Mario wouldn't agree with him taking those shots, but he has been efficient. Austin Reeves has hit his shots from outside this year, and he's D'Lo has been a big reason why we're winning right now.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the reason why he's playing so well might be because of our huge pickup, Spencer Win Diddy. That's what Big Game James calls him, Win Diddy. But yeah, we got Spencer Dinwiddie for during the pickup, the wire or
The waiver wire,
the
yeah.
waiver wire, right?
Mhm.
And he's been great. I mean, especially against that Bucks game with that huge block against Damian
Dame.
Lillard during the last couple seconds. I mean, that wouldn't have happened if we didn't have him.
Yeah, he's been surprisingly good on defense, but he has great length. I think he's been a missing piece that we haven't really gotten from the Lakers this year. I mean, I think uh, Gabriel, Gabe, the
Vincent
guy that we picked, Gabe Vincent. Yeah, there we go.
been injured all
Gabe
season
Vincent,
long.
he's been injured all season long. We gave him a big deal. It just hasn't panned out. But he does give us size and the ability to switch between those three guards, him, Reeves, and D'Lo, and it's been really helpful. He's not there offensively quite there yet. He hasn't been as aggressive, but he's kind of just trying to fill the need of the team.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of like Kendrick Nunn. It's like we picked him up, he was gone that whole first year. That really pissed Lakers fans off. But
Hmm.
with Spencer, I'm kind of worried with Ham too, because instead of playing that 3 guard lineup, he can play the 4 guard lineup now, and that's not something we really want. um, so with Spencer Dinwiddie, I feel like because of the time that he spent with D'Lo in Brooklyn, he's able to kind of work off that chemistry. During the Bucks, when we were playing the Bucks, a couple timeouts, Spence was really animated during those timeouts. He got in D'Lo's ear, and I like that, right? Because usually LBJ is the one like communicating to everybody and like yelling. But I mean, you only have one mouth and so many ears to go around, so he can't really get at everybody. But with Spencer, it's like he could kind of focus on D'Lo and keep him in check, or tell him at least like what to do, or kind of like oh, you got to step up for on the defense, or you got to do this. But it seems like it's been working.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie and D'Lo definitely have some chemistry, and from Brooklyn, they played well. They went to the playoffs together, so I think that trust within the two of them has really helped D'Lo, at least D'Lo, kind of step up a little bit or take criticism a little bit more, or know when to turn it on. So I think it's been a good marriage of Dinwiddie and the Lakers, and hopefully it continues to get better.
Yes, definitely. I'm glad though that because our really main competition was Dallas, and they're above us in the standings right now. And so they were asking Spence like, "Oh, why did you pick the Lakers over Dallas?" And this is what he said. So I'll give you all something funny that I told my people. The two situations was kind of like this, right? Let's say you're a kid and you get your ass whooped by a bully. Dallas would have been like, "Oh, your mama, like, it's okay, baby, don't worry about it. The Lakers are like your dad." And they would be like, "Nah, you better go out there and fight till you win." And I just felt that was what I needed at the time. So I'm a big believer in the kind of doing what you need to do at whatever time it is. So that's how I felt about it. So that's why he picked the Lakers over Dallas. But Spence is quite a character. During his time with Brooklyn and a couple other teams, he was trying to get out like an NFT where fans could like invest in there, and it would be like a part of his contract. But the NBA wasn't having that, so it didn't happen. He also has that $1 contract thing where if he makes the playoffs, then he gets the extra dollar as an incentive. So he's quite a character.
Yeah, he's quite a character, but I do like his mentality of picking the Lakers. I think, he had a good relationship with Kobe. I think Kobe one year called him up and said, "You're an all-star." And he really took that to heart. And he's from Taft High School, I think, in the Woodland Hills, and I think it was only right that he came to the Lakers. The Lakers aren't for everybody. I mean, I think Andre Drummond said this recently. He said that Laker fans are tough on you, and I think Spencer Dinwiddie kind of took that challenge. Doesn't really care about what people might say, but he's coming here anyway. He wants to work, and he's, I think, open to any criticism that he might get, but he just wants to work and take on that mentality, that Mamba mentality.
Definitely. Woodland Hills, Taft High School. That's Nas's area, so he would know
Mm.
all about it. But my nephew actually went to Taft as well. He was in Nick Young and between those two, Jordan Farmar and Nick Young's class. So that's kind
Hmm.
of cool that he's homegrown, part of LA. Um, so for D'Lo, I mean, during that trade season, everybody and their moms wanted him traded. No matter what we could get for him, bag of chips, whatever's, right? I mean, including myself, I felt like D'Lo should be traded. But
Hmm.
hindsight, looking back, if we didn't have D'Lo, then we probably wouldn't have won those games.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I when we gave our preseason predictions, I thought this team was well constructed and that they would be a top three seed. I think the problem with the Lakers were they were unhealthy to begin the year. I mean, Rui was in and out of the lineup. He was barely there. And then we were missing Gabe Vincent for most of the season.
And no,
Vando, the biggest part there. He had a heel injury, and he's our defensive guy. He sets the defensive tone for us. So I thought, like, as constructed, the team, all the whole roster makeup is still pretty good. It's just they were missing two guys, the two guys that I think were going to play most of that small forward, power forward position, in Vando and Rui. So, and then the whole coaches not playing Rui was kind of crazy. I mean, if looking at that starting five right now that we have right now, they are more successful than any of the lineups that they threw out there. So it is crazy. I think that is the reason why we struggled this season, is that continuity, and you can tell this starting lineup at least knows how to play with each other, and they talk defensively. No offense to Cam Reddish or the other guys, Torian Prince. It's just this lineup works better, and I'm glad to see that at least Darvin Ham has committed to this lineup, the starting five.
right. Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, they've been out too, so that's been difficult shuffling that lineup quite a bit. Um, Yeah, but starting lineup's great. Bench kind of took a hit after we moved Rui into the starting lineup, but we need Tari Prince. We need a couple other players to step it up on that bench in order to win some more games.
Yeah, and then going back to D'Lo, and the trade stuff. I definitely was not a fan of trading D'Lo. I know a lot of guys were, including yourself, were wanting to trade D'Lo. I thought one of the reasons why we didn't want to trade D'Lo was the summer. I mean, the Lakers have this opportunity where they can get a third star, a third superstar, if they don't trade, you know, if they don't make this trade, because they'll get two additional picks to offer in a trade, and then they'll have the money from D'Lo plus another player to take on a third star. So they wanted that option. That's why they didn't make the trade. Dejounte Murray, I think, was the big guy that they were looking at, but you would have to give up Reeves in order to do that. Give up a pick or D'Lo and a pick. So I'm just glad that they didn't make that trade because I felt that was overkill.
So off season, Trey Young, Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm hearing that I think Donovan Mitchell is a free agent after this season. So maybe they don't have to like make a big trade. Maybe they just make trades to clear cap for him and then get
Kyrie Irving.
assets back. Kyrie is not a free agent, but if they wanted him, they could get him. Yeah.
Right. So So we have 23 games left. Basketball Reference has us as a sixth toughest schedule. ESPN has us at a 2.7% chance of evading the play-in with a top six seed. 14.6% chance of us falling below that 10th seed and missing the playoffs entirely. A couple key matchups that we keep our eye on is right now you have Kings right above us, then you have the Mavs and the Suns and the Pelicans. So today you have Timberwolves versus Clippers. We're probably rooting for Timberwolves. Then you have Bucks versus Kings tomorrow. We're probably rooting for the Bucks. Cavs versus Pelicans, Cavs, and then we have our rematch with the Kings tomorrow. And tomorrow night, there's also Celtics versus the Suns. So even though I don't want to root for the Celtics, but for our standing purposes, I might wear a little bit of green that day.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Lakers definitely they're not going to miss the play-in tournament. But I don't know. I do think they have a chance at getting up to the sixth seed. Um, I think they just have to play it out and try to win as many games as possible, and see where the basketball gods line us up in the playoffs. But I do think we match up well against Oklahoma City, the Timberwolves. I just am trying to avoid Denver at all costs, whether it's being on the other side of the bracket, whatever it is, avoid Denver because there's no way we're beating Denver in a 7-game series unless somebody gets hurt. And there's just too much size over there. So whatever it is, avoid Denver.
And a
That is my
rematch of last year in the semifinals with Denver.
avoid avoid Denver at all costs. If it means like, hey, we got to play the play in or to play, Oklahoma City in the first round, whatever that is. I mean, I'm not gonna try to root for where we land, but the Lakers just have to play it out and see where we go. Because I don't believe in like trying to pick out where you're gonna be. Um, just let just play and see how many games you win. But I don't think they're missing the playoffs entirely.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it does feel a little bit reminiscent of last year. We hovered around that 500 mark the whole time last year. We didn't really kick it up till after the trade deadline. But we did lose a lot of key matchups. Every time we had somebody in our standing right above us, we tend to lose. But this year, thankfully, that we won some of these key games, and hopefully we keep it up. I mean, it's probably LBJ, AD. That next they're gearing up for the playoff push, right? They're taking it serious. They're not really taking any games off like they did last year. LBJ, I feel like a couple years ago, he probably would have pulled everybody kicking and screaming into the playoffs. But, with Father Time coming kicking in, it's like we kind of have to help him into the playoffs. and,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he is 39 years old. He's an old man now, and as well as he's taking care of his body, he took a game off to rest that ankle, and he took a game off in a key game. I think I'm forgetting which game it was, but it was a key game, whether it was Milwaukee or some other big team that was in front of us. Um, he took that game off, and he's going to continue to take games off, I think, to rest whenever he needs to. But this year, AD has taken more of the offense. I mean, the teams are double teaming him, and he's finding guys, and I think they're just making more of an emphasis to get the ball in the middle. Although at times he does disappear late in the fourth quarter, but they are running the show through AD a lot more.
yes, so I'm hoping we have a great run to that postseason. Next man up mentality, D'Lo, AD, they both had huge games. Where's Rui and AR, right? They need to get some big games too to down the line, and that would fill in the missing pieces for us. All right, Lakers fam. So you heard it here first. We will see you next time.
All right, go Lakers.